Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. We've got some I Don't Work Here Lady stories, so let's jump right into our first story of the day by It's Fish 20. Rude leasing agent doesn't understand, we are the owners. Wrote this in a comment but was told to post it as its own story. Had a very similar thing happen last summer. My parents own a few rental properties up in Michigan and use a leasing company to rent them out and deal with maintenance and all that. Well, I was up at one of the cabins with my brother putting new shingles on the roof when one of the leasing property employees came speeding into the driveway, almost hitting my nephew. Turns out, one of the neighbors called in that there were strange men working on the property, and as soon as this woman got out of the car, she started screaming at us for trespassing. Now, this cabin was empty for the summer. We took it off the market as we wanted to renovate it, and I guess this woman never got the memo. Well, as we are the owners, we didn't listen to her when she demanded we get off the roof and just ignored her. My nephew was playing on his bike and she yelled at him for playing in the driveway, which set my brother off and he jumped off the roof to confront this woman. She started going off on how she is going to call the police for trespassing and we just told her to do it. To our bluff, she actually did and I just kept working. The cops came about half an hour later because it's a small forest town and this woman had a huge smug look on her face. My brother came out to talk with the cops, told them we were the owner's sons, had the paperwork to show we were owners, and even some mail to prove it even more. Cop was satisfied and told the woman she should listen to people next time before wasting everyone's time. It could have ended there, but I didn't like this lady and didn't want her working with our properties anymore. So I asked for her name and called her office right in front of her and asked for the highest boss I could get. The look on her face as I was put on with the owner was priceless. I explained who I was and what I was doing. He was well aware of the renovations and how the unit was not listed for rent that summer, as he was golf buddies with my dad. I then told him we would like his rude employee removed from any of our properties and he let out a long sigh. Turns out this employee was already in trouble for doing this exact same thing to another group of people on another property they manage, and this was her last strike. She left not long after that and we went back to fixing up the cabin. A few months later, when we finished everything, we contacted the leasing company and put it back up for rent and asked about the rude employee. Turns out she was fired that day and the number of complaints dropped significantly. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and assume that the woman was told that they own the property and that they had every right to work on it. I would assume that these people, upon this woman arguing with them or yelling at them to get off and that they're trespassing, wouldn't just completely ignore her and say nothing at all. Otherwise, I'd argue that OP and whoever else was working on the roof was wasting everyone's time just as much as the lady was. Because I feel like a simple conversation where you say you're the son of the owners and you're working on the place and it's not listed for rent would hopefully solve that problem. So I'm assuming they did have that conversation and it just wasn't mentioned. That said, do you think it's understandable that this employee had this reaction like that? Or do you think the employee should have known very clearly that this place was undergoing renovations and it's highly likely that these people own the place? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by SewingSamantha. I stole it, but only on Mondays. So I volunteer for a driving service locally. Few hours per week, I drive the elderly to the doctors and to the shops and such. My only responsibility is to bring them from A to B and back, but as it is often very frail, weak, or small people, I go in the shop with them and help them get stuff off shelves and such because I want to. It's a small community, a number of people know me in the area, this is fine. Well, I drive on Mondays only. This happened last Saturday when I went to the shops to do my own shopping. A lady I'd not seen before, not the typical Karen look, she looked like a normal woman in her mid-50s, visibly stared at me as I walked past her. I think nothing of this, people are weird sometimes. I go about my shopping. She follows me. I know this because I do a pretty unusual tour through the aisles since I know what I need and where. Near the register, we have walked past at least 3 uniformed shop employees by now. She just jams her cart in front of mine, blocking the way. Excuse me, since you're obviously free, why haven't you offered to help me? I stare for a good 15 seconds because I don't know what I could possibly help her with. That she thinks I work there doesn't occur to me. I've never worked a day of retail in my life. I'm a journalist, nothing even close to what she's after. With? My shopping? If you need help, I suggest an employee.
But you are free.
I don't work here.
Obviously not.
This startled me. I didn't expect her to agree with me. Then why would I help you?
You work for local service.
No, I'm self-employed. I volunteer there on Mondays.
Then help me already.
By now, other people have started peeking into our aisle, her shrill voice having alerted others. I can see one of the shopkeepers debate whether or not to step in. Sadly, no. It's not Monday. If it was Monday, I still wouldn't help you because it's a members-only service. You're not a member. And if you were, I still wouldn't help you because my only responsibility is driving people around. I help sometimes because I want to, and I certainly don't want to help you.
Well, I don't care.
Okay then, neither do I. I give her cart a push and walk past with mine to the register, start unloading my stuff. The cashier is already giving her and me side eye because she can see this isn't over.
If you don't work here, how are you going to pay for that? You are going to pay, right?
This startled both me and the shopkeeper. It's so dumb, I'm literally speechless for half a minute. Apparently this shop is the only way to earn money now? I don't even know. No, I figured I was just gonna rob the store, to be honest. It is Saturday after all.
You're so rude.
I pay for my stuff. She's still following me, having abandoned her cart in the aisle. I stay near the counter to pack my groceries while she hovers around me still. You understand I'm not going to help you at all, ever, right?
I'll get you fired.
I'm self-employed. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to fire me. I managed to make it out the door, put my cart back, and carry my stuff to my car. I almost think I ditched her when she appears again next to me, yelling in my ear.
That's not your car.
I have a small seat. Nothing fancy, but I own it outright. By now, honestly, I was just having a laugh at this witch. Then why do my keys unlock the door?
I've seen your car.
I mean, we're standing in front of it.
No, your real car, the VW.
It dawns on me what she means. The local service has two brand spanking new giant 7-seater electric cars completely covered with stickers, ads, and so on for the driver's service. Cars are white, stickers orange and green, very distinct. It's tacky as freak, but the cars are great for people with limited movement because they're big. How anyone could think a car with all those ads belonged to a random person is beyond me, to be honest. That's not mine, this is. I just drive it sometimes.
That's illegal.
It's not? Have a great day. By the way, the store has probably put your stuff back by now. She ignores this completely as I get into the car, lowering the window so as to not tempt her to open the door or something.
How did you get this car?
Now, I'm a fairly small woman, just over 5 feet, very friendly face, generally quite approachable, but with a loud voice when I try. I tried. I freaking stole it, obviously, murdered the owner as well. Keep yapping and I'll show you where they're buried. With that, I throw the car in gear, absolutely stomp the pedal to the ground and race to the other end of the parking lot. I see her frantically scramble to what I assume to be her car, but by the time she's in it, I've pulled into traffic and pretty much out of her sight. Just for fun, I parked a little down the road from my place next to another identical seat. Same model, same color, very similar license plates, just in case she comes looking. Sadly, she didn't. I didn't see her or her car again. I was actually a little nervous that I'd get in trouble with the police or something for yelling that in case she reported me or something, but it seems she's not that crazy. Crazy is one way to describe it. It's accurate, but it's not fully encompassing for this lady. There's a number of other adjectives that maybe you could suggest for this lady. I don't think I even need to go there. Our next story is by MooneyCat08. I don't work for them, I work for him. I'm an apprentice in carpentry, in my last year now and having a ball. My boss is chill and I'm on great terms with him. First name basis, private number, you name it. So we were at this new building site. I was dressed in my brown work trousers, white shirt, and work shoes. You know, the ones with steel caps and that stuff. Now this will be explained later, but remember this detail. So we were working there and moving some furnitures around and building a few stuff and laying the floor like we carpenters usually do. Now, I never met the owners of this property, and from what I heard, they were very wealthy because they bought the building for around €1,000,000. Yes, I'm European. No, I won't convert it because I'm too lazy and have no clue about the exchange rates. Anyways, back to the story. So my boss had to leave and help out our coworker, so I was left alone doing the flooring, and once I finished, I took my lunch break, which I have to by law, and my boss told me I should do it whilst he's out. And oh boy, I bet you all can imagine what happened. I went outside, sat on the sidewalk, got out my sandwich and a cigarette and started to, well, take a break. The painters were still working since they apparently took their break an hour before I did. The owner was there before and saw the painters eating and taking their break, which is fine. Legally, we all have to do it. So it goes like this. This lady, let's call her Mrs. M, came to look at the site again and saw me, walked over to me and in a very unlikely manner, tried to get my attention by clearing her throat. I looked up and the conversation went as follows. Hello miss, can I help you?
Yes, you can. You can stop sitting on your lazy butt and get back to work.
Mind you, I was 10 minutes in my break and still had 20 minutes to go. Sadly, yes, I'm very specific with my break times and that because I love getting my job done. Miss, I'm taking my break.
You took it an hour ago. I want to talk with your boss on how lazy you painters are.
It then finally clicked. She thought I was a painter. Mind you, I did have paint on my shirt and trousers from the day before because we were painting furnitures. I am deeply sorry, miss, but I think you have me confused.
I certainly do not. You better get back to work or I will not be paying you for your work.
Miss, I really don't work.
Course you do. Now call your boss. I'll be having a word with him now.
She angrily said all that. I mean, sure, they were paying a big sum of money and I was really tired from kneeling all day long, but I took out my phone, dialed my boss, which we will be calling Kay now. Hey Kay, seems like I have a problem here and you need to talk with someone. Kay says, hey OP, what's wrong? You good with work? Have you taken your break? I say, yeah, everything is fine. Just finished laying the floor you told me to do and I'm 10 minutes into my break. Just the owner, I think, thinks I'm a painter. Kay says, just put her on the phone with me. It then finally clicked with the owner's head when I told my boss. She started to blush but took my phone off of me and talked with my boss.
Hey Kay, I'm so sorry. I thought your worker was slacking off since he is outside eating and not working. I thought he was a worker. Yes, it's not a problem. I know they have to take their legal breaks. No, it's all sorted.
She then looked at me and gave back my phone, apologized profusely, and offered me a cup of coffee as an apology, and me being me, didn't turn it down. I mean, free coffee and also at the house instead of walking 10 minutes to a store to find a coffee store. No way am I letting that go. She wasn't a Karen, nor was she exactly rude, just puzzled and confused. She was very polite afterwards and we talked a bit, so no harm done. Though I did nearly get a panic attack and anxiety attack, but that's for another time with my health issues. All that embarrassment and the extra coffee could have been saved if they just let them finish their words. Because I feel like if OP was able to say that they're a carpenter and that they're taking their break and they're not a painter, it would all get cleared up right there. It's just the lady had to be angry and mouth off. She is paying a lot, but should have let them finish their words. And our final story of the day is by Lindaleeann. Karen gets rudely and loudly shut down. Once again, I have an adventure to tell you all about a trip to a store that has a name that rhymes with small fart. There is me, duh. My son I shall call Son, entitled Karen, we'll call her Karen, store employee and manager. Today, a few hours ago, my son took me to Small Fart to do some shopping. Yes, I know, I'm a small fart Martian. Shopping itself was uneventful for the most part, until the Karen of the story came into the picture. My son was doing his job and helping his mother, me, shop by getting things down off a shelf and placing them in a cart, being as I am permanently wheelchair bound. I was reading off a list of shopping, he was getting the items, we stopped a moment in the frozen food section. He retrieved an item or two on my list and put them in the cart. At that moment, we stopped shopping for a moment while I took out an inhaler. I have troubles breathing at times. That's when we heard a loud snapping of fingers and a loud, rude, ahem. Then the dreaded loud voice.
Now that you're done helping her, you can help me with my shopping.
My son turned. I don't work here, lady. I was and am shopping with my mother. You want help? Go find an actual employee and go away."
"You work here," she screeched. "Otherwise you wouldn't be helping her shop."
"Again, lady," my son said. "I do not work here. Want help? Go find an employee and stop bothering us." She started yelling,
"I'm getting you fired! Manager! Manager!"
At her yelling, an employee came to see what the yelling was about and asked if she could help.
"Yes?"
She deliberately dragged out the S on the word.
"Your employee has been extremely rude and threatened me when I asked for help."
The employee looked confused. "Ma'am, he doesn't work here."
"Yes, he does. You're just trying to cover for him. Now get me your manager now."
She walked over to a post and pressed a red button on a display on it. "Manager needed in frozen food," she said into the speaker, also on the post. "Be right there," a voice said back.
"Now we'll see how long you're employed here,"
the Karen said as she stood there with a smug look on her face. Before long, the manager arrived. Before he could even ask what was going on, the Karen launched into a heavily embellished tale, painting herself as a victim and demanding compensation for the horrible insult she had endured and demanding both my son and the employee be fired immediately. "I remember you," the manager suddenly said. "You're banned from Small Fart if I remember correctly," but got interrupted by her screeching. The response of the manager was a wonder to behold and caught us all by surprise. "Shut up," he yelled at the Karen. "This is the second time and the reason you were banned for 6 months to begin with, harassing other customers and making up wild tales and trying to get one of my employees fired." She opened her mouth, but the manager beat her to it. "I said shut up. Now, leave your card where it is, get the heck out of my store, and don't ever set foot in it again or I will trespass you and have you jailed." She stood there, mouth flapping. "I said get the heck out now." In a quieter tone, "Or shall I call the police and have you escorted out the front door in cuffs?" The Karen took off running as if the devil himself had come in pursuit of her. It was an unbelievable but very satisfying thing to have witnessed. The manager turned to us. "I'm so sorry you had to endure that and hear me yelling, but she had that coming, and this is not the first time she has harassed other shoppers. Please allow me to do something for you for your troubles." When we left, we not only had our shopping comped 25%, at his insistence, although we told him it wasn't necessary, we were each given a $50 gift card to use as we see fit on our next visit to the store. And I have a new hero to enjoy talking to whenever I go shopping there again. Shoot, the 25% off and the $100 in gift cards was probably more than worth it to finally get fully rid of that Karen. It's like as if the manager paid $100 to finally get a reason to just launch her out of that place and keep her out. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which one and why in the comment section down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe if you haven't and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you did, whether it was just watching the video or commenting, subscribing, whatever you do. Thank you all so very much for supporting me right here on the Storytime channel. Any single thing you do helps the channel grow that much more and I appreciate the heck out of it. I hope you all have a wonderful day and until next time, I'll be right here on the Storytime channel.